Every Tuesday right here on Off the Bench, presented by All Star Toyota, we catch up with LSU head football coach, the man, Ed Orgeron, who is getting the Tigers prepared for spring football and 2021 as he's got early enrollees now in the building and looking towards the later signing day as LSU wakes up for the first time in nearly a year as not the defending national champs, and Coach Orgeron and his crew just trying to get back to the top of the mountain. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Great to be on the show. Great to see our mid-year graduates. Great to see all our guys coming back from last year. Great to see our offensive coaches already getting to work. Things are looking great in the office. We're fired up about this season.
Yes, sir. You got a lot of good news coming out of the program again this week. Last week we talked to you about some guys that announced that they were coming back. Another stable for you, or another a rock for you on the offensive line, a stable part of the unit. Austin Deculus, coach, with as many games as he started, is coming back for his fifth season. He announced that last night. What's that mean for your program?
Man, we needed that. And, Austin's been a great young man out of Houston, Texas. His mom and dad are from Mamou. They got a lot of Louisiana ties. Austin's been a great leader for us, a great young man. That goes to show that our whole offensive line is coming back, and they should be a strength of our football team next year.
Yeah. That is a incredible selling point with your offensive line coming back. I'd imagine you were doing that during offensive meetings. You landed on an offensive coordinator and picked up a passing game coordinator last week that was very familiar with the program, and DJ Mangus, and offensive coordinator Jake Peets. Can you just talk to us about getting to that decision and bringing those guys in?
We went hard with Joe Brady's recommendations, and Derek Panessa did a great job when we were going through the season. Was in constant contact with Joe. And we'll find out who's the best fit for us here at LSU. And we're so excited about Jake and DJ coming back. They've already been meeting rave reviews from the players, from the parents they talked to. We're going strictly to the offense that we had 2 years ago. And I know our fans are going to be excited about it.
Well, and what does the offseason schedule look like right now, Coach? Like, what has last week been like? What do you got on the docket over the next couple of weeks as these new coaches and new players come in?
Well, coaches are meeting on the offense. I'm handling the defense right now. Obviously, we only have one full-time coach on defense, but we have our analysts. We're still doing our work we're doing from last season. This is a discretionary week. The guys can work out on their own. There will be no mandatory lifting starting until next week, but Monday's Martin Luther King Day, so everybody's going to have that off. But then on Tuesday, we start football school. So we're ready to go next Tuesday. We start football school on Tuesday and Wednesday. All-season program, big time for our program here.
So with football school around the corner, Coach, I know it's a bit of a delicate balance where, look, the defensive coordinator search is still going on. Freeman's going to Notre Dame. And so now it's a situation where you definitely don't want to speed up the process. You want to make sure you get it right. And maybe some of the targets are still out there coaching. Where does the defensive coordinator search currently stand today?
It's looking good. We have a lot of great candidates. It's about getting the right fit. Hopefully we can get it within the next week, but we're going to take our time, get the right people in here, and I think eventually all the pieces are going to fit together. I wanted to get the offense first. Defensively, we can handle it. I've coached defense all my life. We can take care of it until we get the right guys. And I do believe the right guys are going to come along.
So when you look at the defense then, Coach, whoever gets this job will be inheriting a ton of talent. Ricks and Stingley. I don't know if you're going to find a better cornerback duo on the edges. But how about that defensive line? Much made by the offensive line returning, but the entire defensive line back as well. Obviously, your history with D-line. Coaching these guys even more closely now. What's your kind of idea on the potential of this defense after a disappointing year?
Yeah, I think we could be one of the top defenses in the conference. One of, at least a top 20 defense, which would be a big improvement from last year. You don't want to put too much on them, but with our defensive line, these guys know that they have some positives and they have some strengths, and hopefully that we can get in better shape. We got to lose weight. We got to be quicker. We got to be faster. I'm so glad that these guys are coming back. And I'm also excited about the young guys that we signed. Mason Smith, Bryce Langston, Landon Jackson, Xavier Carter, and then we still have a couple out there that we haven't signed. So I think that we're going to be stacked on the defensive line for years to come.
So switching over to the other side of the ball, you get the entire offensive line returning basically. Obviously, Dare Rosenthal has a decision to make, but Ed Ingram and other guys celebrating yesterday that, the boys are back. But what about the development of that younger group? When we saw them last year, it maybe looked a little out of shape. You mentioned needing to get in shape. Where do you think, what are your goals for the backup offensive lineman this offseason?
Hey, T-Bob, you ought to be in the meeting we have at 8 o'clock with Tommy Moffitt, all right? And we're going over everybody's strengths and weaknesses in the weight room, what they need to get better at, what weight they need to be at, where they need to get stronger at. And this is going to be a tremendous meeting, especially for these young guys. I'll give you an example. Anthony Bradford came back at a slim 347.
Oh.
He may have left there at 370. So he's got an idea his time is up. Guys are getting bigger and stronger, but it gives these guys coming back, it gives these guys another year to develop and hopefully get more playing time as the season goes on.
How much does that part of the process change year in, year out, Coach, to Coach Moffitt's program, between the communication between you and the strength coach of how you guys get them trained in the off season and moving into the fall?
I think that as we grow in the program here, I want our assistants to be closer to Coach Moffitt, closer to what goes on in the weight room. I started in the weight room, so that's natural to me. I'm always in there working out, looking at the players. But I want all of our assistants to be involved in the day-to-day activities more than football, more than school. I want them to be involved in nutrition, involved in the weight room, involved in their conditioning. And I think that we can overall get better as a staff there.
Coach, what about some of the new players? You mentioned Mason Smith earlier. I think Nussmeier was a guy who showed up early as well. How are these high schoolers now adjusting to all of a sudden being in college?
I tell you what was the craziest thing. We had a meeting on Saturday. It's the first time I met some of these guys. So we recruited them on Zoom. I've never been. I felt awkward. I've never been in their homes. I never had dinner with them. I never been to their school. So it was different, but we laughed about it. These are the guys that are in: Garrett Nussmeier, Garrett Dellinger, Mason Smith, Devontae Strong. First time I ever met him, our linebacker from Mississippi Gulf Coast, Deion Smith, Derek Davis. First time I ever met him in person, all the way from Pennsylvania. Landon Jackson, Peyton Todd, who looks great from West Monroe High School, and Xavier Carter. What a great group of guys.
Yeah. Coach, Strong, the linebacker, had some great quotes when he committed to you guys. He feels like he is a Ed Orgeron prototype.
Yes, old school.
At the middle linebacker spot.
Good. That means he's going to hit, make a lot of plays.
Are you looking for anything in particular in your interview process? 3-4, 4-3? I know that was a part of your identity.
We can play. You got to be multiple nowadays. I don't think you can only play one or the other. You see all the great defenses that out there. I don't know if you've seen any great defenses right now, but the better defenses are playing both. I think you got to play some 3-4 to stop the run. You got to play some nickel package, and most of that nickel package is in the 4-3. So I think if you can remain flexible, which we have talent on the defensive line, personnel to play both, I think you need to remain flexible there.
You mentioned meeting some of these guys for the first time and getting them on campus. Have you gotten an idea of when you would be able to maybe start doing camps again, or maybe starting to get out and see recruits at any point?
It's April 15th, and I don't know. We don't know. We haven't asked. I don't know what's going to happen after April 15th. Hopefully we can go, but it still remains to be seen.
I mean, Coach, if you look at really last night's game, this season as a whole, and just where college football's at right now, you were kind of laughing about maybe there's no good, great defenses out there. Now, it is an offensive era of college football, at least where we sit today. And so the Mangus and Pete hiring becomes so important. What's been the early return on these guys? Like the creativity that you're seeing out of the leading offensive minds with college football in the NFL right now is really impressive. Are Pete's and Mangus, are they going to be those guys?
No question. That's why I hired them. And in the interview process, those guys obviously knew Joe Brady's offense, especially the empty package, especially the passing game out of it, especially the cover one beaters, the zero beaters, and two beaters. Joe was great at that. Obviously, Joe Burrow was great at that. The teaching of the quarterback, the teaching of defenses, how to read defenses, and the multiplicity in which we can do things. I think that You're going to see a new offense. That's going to be similar to the one we had with Joe, but these guys are going to expound on it. They have free reign to go after it. I told them what I wanted to see. I want to see an offense that scores a lot of points. I want to spread offense and give the ball to our playmakers in space and let them go make plays.
And so kind of part and parcel with all that, is this the best quarterback room that y'all have had at LSU? Now, that might sound crazy because Joe Burrow, but I mean just in terms of the number of, like, the overall breadth of the guys.
Yeah, I think it's a good room, T-Bob. I don't know if we're ever gonna replace Joe. Hopefully we do. You know, he holds a special place here at LSU, but I think some of these guys have the makings, have the inner fiber of Joe and what he did. But overall, I think you're right. This is a great quarterback room, and then you look at the guys that are coming in. We got Garrett. You look at the guys that are committed to us. So since I've been here, this is the best overall room, no question.
Well, Coach, you mentioned you're going through the interview process. Can you talk about some of the guys that have been stable for you through this process as far as the coaches go? Seems like Kevin Falk, Mickey Joseph, and Corey Raymond have really meant a lot through you through this process. Can you just talk about what their responsibility is?
Yes, very loyal. Recruiting over the holidays. We had 3 weeks off. We usually don't have 3 weeks off during this period, but those guys were constantly on the phone with me, helping recruit coaches, helping talk to the players, helping recruit players to come back. Very instrumental. James Craig did a great job of getting his old offensive line back. And then again, they were recruiting graduate transfers. We still have a couple of scholarships left to go. We got 2021. We got to finish, and we're also 2022, and we got a great start of 2022.
The students are back on campus. LSU football up and operating. Looking for the class of 2021 getting in and getting back to the field. Thank you as always, Coach. We'll talk soon.
Thank you guys. Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There's Ed Orgeron checking in from LSU football this morning. We'll be back and close out hour number 1.